My God, if I was a lawyer back in this time, I would have a field day with this case. The Wrong Man, released in 1956 and is directed by filmmaker legend Alfred Hitchcock, who has also directed such legendary films like Psycho, North by Northwest, Vertigo, Spellbound, Rebecca, and The Birds. And this film is starring Henry Fonda and Vera Miles. And the reason why we're talking about The Wrong Man today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from one of my big contributors and supporters on this channel, formerly known as Autumn Blood, but now goes by the name of Name the Stars. Thank you so much for the recommendation. You've sent me so many over the last several months that I'm going to be getting to them eventually. It's probably going to take me a while to actually get all of them, but I know this one, I saw the title and was like, that's probably a classic. I should probably check that one out first. Come to find out, oh, it's Alfred Hitchcock. So great, I'm going to have a bunch of film historians and film scholars watch my review and comment about how stupid I am with my review and my analysis. This is my first time viewing it. I'm just a common movie viewer. Go easy on me. The story of Manny Balestro, who is a husband and a father, struggling financially to keep their head above water. And one day he goes to his insurance company to see how much they can borrow on his wife's life insurance policy. And while there, the tellers recognize him as the man who came in a few weeks ago and held them up at gunpoint. And while the cops question him and take him around town to the other places that have been hit by this strange person going around, they all seem to agree that this is the man who robbed them. So the film is about Manny trying to clear his name while also dealing with his wife, who is having a nervous breakdown because she feels responsible for the reason why Manny has been wrongfully accused. And again, I have never seen this film before, so when I go into this movie and I'm hearing Hitchcock tell me that everything happened in this film, it's all true, and doing research on it actually is pretty accurate for the most part. I was shocked though at how un-Hitchcockian this film was for me. I haven't seen a lot of Hitchcock films. The films that I have seen have all been horror and suspense thrillers, and they all have a special little twist at the end. Vertigo, Rear Window, which is my favorite from his, North by Northwest, Psycho, of course. All of them have a fun little, what I like to call in modern day sense, an M. Night Shyamalan ding dong twist. So as this film is going along, I'm hearing Hitchcock in the beginning talking about how all these events really happen. I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be a huge twist that comes in at the end where it's going to be like, oh, this guy actually did all the things, but yet he's found innocent and he's able to get away scot-free. Nope, I'm completely wrong. This movie's called The Wrong Man for a reason, because this guy, Henry Fonda, is the wrong man. He is innocent. And I'm gonna be honest, I was feeling a little disappointed. I was wanting that special little crazy twist to happen, but maybe this was 1956 and those ideas just weren't even thought of back then. Or, I mean, probably more accurately, Hitchcock wanted to present the story accurately, so yeah, let's go along with that. He's just trying to tell a story. So let's go along with that. If this guy is wrongfully accused, my God, how these cops go about arresting him and proving his guilt. Again, if I was a lawyer, I would have a field day with this. So he's first taken in for questioning because a teller at an insurance company faintly recognized him because he looks like an average Joe. He looks like an average person. So she goes over to the teller who actually assisted the real robber at the time and said, I think I see the person that was robbing you the other day. I think that's him. I'm going to tell the bank manager and we're going to call the police because I think that's him. When it comes to crime, relying on just a person's memory is like one of the worst things you could possibly do. This is why security cameras were invented, to put into establishments like this, so they didn't need to rely on the stupid thing that falls between your two ears, your memory, because your memory embellishes a lot of things. I work for a financial institution, and we go through training, and we go through scenarios of what happens if someone comes in and slides you a note saying, I have a gun, give me what's in your cash drawer, and the main thing that you do when you are robbed is you separate everyone. Everyone who is directly involved, you put them into a separate office. That way people don't talk. That way someone's recollection of what happened is not influenced by someone else's recollection of what happened. If everyone gets together and talks about how someone looked and exactly what happened according to what they saw, that can definitely influence and change what actually happened and what actually happened in someone's memory of what happened. This is why this whole crime, this whole movie is based on, oh, he looks familiar. there, I think that's the guy, was pissing me the fuck off. When did we start relying on fingerprints and DNA and security cameras when it came to crime? I think DNA was like in the late 70s, 80s, somewhere in there when we started taking a look at it. But they were taking his fingerprints in this film, so I mean, we looked at fingerprints back then. I feel like a lot of people were just dumb in this movie, and the one that suffered is Manny. Then they were checking out his handwriting, and apparently he wrote a word incorrectly, the same way the actual robber wrote the word incorrectly. And it's like, oh, they both made a mistake. They're both the robbers. Or it could just be a coincidence, an honest mistake. The whole thing about this court system and the justice system that we have is that you're innocent until you're proven guilty, and if there's a reasonable doubt, you are innocent and you go free. There is so much reasonable doubt in this frickin' film. They have him stand in a lineup with other people, and they bring the tellers in to identify him. Of course they're gonna recognize him, because they just saw him, like 2 hours ago. Of course they're gonna recognize him. And they're always putting the person accused at the same number spot in the lineup, which is something you don't do either. From a story standpoint, this film is freaking frustrating, and it's really annoying, and it's actually a really nice thing of Hitchcock to bring this to light, because the stupidity that happened in the actual real-life story here angers me so much. It is shot well, though. It's a lot of Hitchcockian stuff here, where we have silhouettes representing a character, and then we have another character come into frame and reference the silhouette as opposed to the person. I love that. The performances are great. Henry Fonda, he's a great classical actor. I love him, of course, from 12 Angry Men. Again, dealing with wrongfully accused people. And Vera Miles playing the wife who just has a nervous breakdown because her husband is taken away and is done wrong, but yet, you know, she doesn't know that. She's home all day with the kids, so how does she know he doesn't go off and gamble on the tracks and trying to settle debts, and maybe he robs people? She doesn't know that. So what's the 1940s and 50s things to do with your woman if she's not feeling right, or if she's having a nervous breakdown? Well, of course, you put her into a convicted hospital. God, I love how far we've come. There's so much in this movie that annoys me just from a story standpoint. The actual directing and the crafting of this art is actually very impressive. But like I said, I think there is something lacking at the end of this film. I was wanting to have that kind of psycho-ish or this thrillerish twist to where Manny was actually the person who did rob all of these people, and he got away scot-free. I just think that would have been more interesting. But if you're going for a true story, it just kind of makes sense to be vanilla and just tell the story, actually how it happened. But I'm just thinking how great of an ending it would have been if Henry Fonda, after visiting his wife and keeps her there for the rest of her life, he gets into his car and he starts driving away, and he has a smile on his face, a little grin, as he pulls open the glove box and he has all the cash right there. Oh, I just think that would have been such a great freaking ending. But I'm not one to tell Hitchcock that his ending was terrible or that mine would have been better. Definitely would have. But I think this film was still a great time. I'm gonna give The Wrong Man 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my video, is where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next, and I got a recommendation from a longtime friend of mine, someone who used to be a co-worker of mine, but she left years ago. Finally heard from her again, and she recommended the movie called Somewhere in Time. This is coming from Kristen Weissner, who is expecting her first child here in the next couple of months, so congratulations, Kristen. I'm excited to hear your theme song again. I have not heard that in so long. Plus, I've never seen Somewhere in Time. I know it's Christopher Reeve. This is right after his first stint with Superman, so seeing him in another role, it's definitely going to be interesting. So guys, have you seen The Wrong Man? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you on the next time I'm released next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Somewhere in Time. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.